I went out to get milk, and by morning, I was a murderer. Darnell Hughes, 24, was a quiet young black man. That night, his mother asked him to get some milk to settle his stomach. He pulled on his hoodie, zipped up his jacket, and headed to his neighborhood corner store. After getting the milk, he lingered briefly at the entrance, holding the bag and texting someone. Just then, a white patrol car slowed to a stop. Inside, 2 white police officers peered out the window at him. A few minutes later, the car door slammed open. "Hey, what are you doing here? Are you extorting people or something? Are you a thief?" Darnell winced. "I got milk from my mom. I'm going home." He showed his ID. They searched him, leaning against the wall, and did it roughly, with the intention of hurting him a little. He had only a phone, house keys, and milk on him. They let him go. No ticket, no record. But the next morning, a body was found down the street. The victim was a white man. Time of death, 12:15. And the police had a lead. Darnell had been seen in the area around that time. He was arrested without warning. During questioning, he repeated the same sentence over and over. "I went to get milk for my mom. I guess I'm not going home now." But the officer's face didn't flinch. He had already made up his mind. Footage of Darnell's arrest was leaked to the media. The headlines claimed he was behaving suspiciously, but all he did was stand still. The police hadn't caught a killer. They had created one. This time, it was skin color. Darnell's case was assigned to a young, idealistic defense attorney named Leah Morgan. It didn't take long for her to realize something was seriously wrong. The police claimed Darnell was close to the crime scene, but offered no physical evidence. Leah moved quickly and knew exactly where to start. Her first request, Darnell's phone records. She had said he was in a meeting a few blocks away at the time of the murder. She also asked for surveillance footage from the store. The answers were alarming. The cameras weren't working that night. The phone's signal was lost due to a technical glitch. Leah froze. A broken camera and missing data. On the same night? Could it really be a coincidence? It was becoming very obvious that something was going on behind her back. She reviewed the police statements. They were all the same, almost word for word. There were no inconsistencies, no differences in detail. It was as if they had been copied from the same script. She felt even more uneasy as she watched the interrogation video. The officers repeated the same sentence over and over. "Just confess. It'll be easier. People saw you there." But no one had seen Darnell. No witnesses, no footage, no data, just the system. Leah was preparing a defense with almost no hard evidence. But her instincts told her this wasn't just a mistake. It was a deliberate setup. Darnell had been singled out as a scapegoat, and it wouldn't be the first time something like this had happened. But she was determined. It would be the last. By now, Leah Morgan wasn't just angry, she was furious. Everything in Darnell's file screamed innocence. And yet, the system had already branded him guilty. The indictment had been finalized, first-degree murder. And still, there was not a shred of physical evidence connecting him to the crime. Leah began reviewing similar cases from the same district over the past 2 years. That's when a disturbing pattern emerged. At least 11 cases had linked young black men to violent crimes like murder and robbery. In nearly all of them, surveillance footage had malfunctioned, witnesses had withdrawn, police statements were near identical. Every time, the suspects were black, the victims, white. One case stood out. A young black man, just like Darnell, had spent 15 years in prison before being exonerated due to lack of evidence. A note in the file read, "Insufficient, but racially biased evidence." That's when it hit Leah. This wasn't a coincidence. It was policy. The police department, under pressure from the media and the public, was trying to appear efficient. That meant quickly creating suspects, pinning crimes on faces that fit a certain narrative, and quickly concluding cases. But was justice actually being served? The statistics were just getting better. The situation wasn't looking good. Leah knew what she had to do. Expose the pattern in court. But one obstacle stood in her way. The jury. Every member was white. And from the very first day, their expressions said it all. Judgment had arrived long before the trial even began. The courtroom was cold, tense. Darnell sat motionless, his hands on the table. He had no handcuffs, but he still felt shackled. Behind him, Leah stood, documents in hand, ready to fight. He had no intention of giving up without winning this battle. He knew very well that he had to keep going until the end. The prosecutor spoke. His voice was loud and confident. He portrayed Darnell as a suspicious figure with a vague past who ignored police warnings and was lurking in the area. The officers' statements came next. They made the same statements one after another. "We've had complaints from locals. He was behaving in an unusual way. He was close to the crime scene. Everything was too polished, too clean." Leah rose from her seat, calm but firm. She submitted Darnell's records to the court. A spotless history. No criminal past, honors in school, volunteer work. She turned to the jury. If there's a crime here, it's not what Darnell may have done. It's what the system has done to him. Most of the jury avoided her gaze. All but one. Juror number 6. Middle-aged, glasses, attentive eyes. Quiet but observant. As the trial ended for the day, Leah exited the courtroom. But juror number 6 lingered, flipping through the files. He'd noticed something. A discrepancy in Darnell's arrest time and the confirmed time of the murder. A 23-minute walking distance between the crime scene and where Darnell had been stopped. Surveillance footage had been erased, but there should have been backups. That night, juror number 6 went home and reviewed every page of the file. One thing became clear. This trial wasn't just about Darnell. It was about the system itself. The courtroom opened with a haunting silence. Darnell sat quietly, his expression weary but resolute. This was no longer just a fight for his freedom. This was a fight for truth itself. The prosecutor gave his closing argument. Turning to the jury, he said, "The evidence may be incomplete, but trust your instincts. In cases like this, gut feeling matters too." A subtle, dangerous appeal to bias. Then Leah rose and walked to the front. Her tone was calm, her words sharp. "What's missing here isn't just evidence. It's the truth that was erased. Darnell isn't the only one on trial today. So is the color of his skin, his right to walk down the street, and the role this system forces him into." And then, unexpectedly, juror number 6 stood up. The judge stared in shock. "Your Honor," the juror began, "I've found information that was never presented. The deleted surveillance footage still exists. It was backed up on the cloud servers of the market's security company." Gasps filled the room. A short recess was called. The footage was retrieved and played. What it showed was undeniable. At the exact time of the murder, Darnell was seen at a phone booth, 3 blocks away from the crime scene. Only one person was seen passing the murder scene that night. A police officer, one who had testified earlier in the trial. Leah stood slowly. "There's your real suspect," she said. "And this is the system that tried to bury the truth." The judge lifted his gavel. "The jury finds Darnell Hughes not guilty of all charges. He is hereby acquitted. An official investigation into the involved officers will commence immediately." Applause broke out in the courtroom. Leah wiped away tears. Darnell stood tall and inhaled deeply. He wasn't just alive, he was free, not just in body, but in voice, in spirit, and in truth. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed him. Darnell looked straight into the cameras, his voice steady, his words unforgettable. "I was just walking, but they feared my walk, because this system is programmed to see our color as a threat. Today, one juror saw the truth. Tomorrow, more will, because the truth cannot be silenced."